In Revelation Europe, it's all about the regions and how the regions gain points. Every player is handsomely rewarded in the end of the game if the region is high in the ranking. The winning region gets 100,000 points per player, whereas the number 10th region gets 0 points extra per player. This means that you have to plan the entire game on how to get the most points for the regions as possible. And how can you do that? Well, some say that you have to work the landmarks as much as you can, as soon as you can. I don't agree. And here's the reason why. Let's look at the points. The points on the screen shown are for some of them fixed. This takes into account that each city is leveled to level 30 and no higher. So we have 5 cities in the region. Each level up gives 500 points, which means 5 cities, 30 levels each, gives 75,000 points. When it comes to landmarks, each level up gives 2,000 points, but it has a maximum level of 15. That means 75 levels in total at 2,000 points, giving 150,000 points. When it comes to endgame, you can deliver 49 goods, then your city have 1. That gives a total of 19,600 points. A win gives 10,000 points. Player prestige. Sum of the prestige of the top 100 players of the region multiplied by 0.005. In this example, each player in top 100 in the region gets 100,000 points each. That's the average. Of course, some will get a lot more and a few will get less. If we take this, we'll get 50,000 points from players, giving a total of 304,600 points. That's the points we'll get if this strategy is followed, if we max it like this. The thing that's really flexible here is the player points. The more points the player gets, the more points the region gets. And how can players get more points? Well, they can get more points by leveling up the landmark, depending on how many goods they have delivered of each one. But it takes a lot of time. And the problem here is if you only level the landmark and not the city, you have less goods that gives points, meaning less points per level of the landmark. By leveling the city many times, you secure that each time you level up the landmark, you get more points. You will always get the 2,000 points per landmark level. That's a fixed point. You can't do anything about that. You can't maximize anything on landmarks. You can't maximize anything on the end game. That's the fixed. Of course, you can do that in the end game, that you have more than one city in the end game, and you try and deliver goods and close goods in several cities. This is, of course, with the risk that you lose the end game. And remember, the end game, winning the end game alone gives 10,000 points, which is the same as delivering 25 goods. So maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it taking the end game and not winning it, but having 5 cities that deliver 25 goods each, if that's possible. That will certainly give a lot more points than just one city with 49 goods and the 10,000 points extra. The key part here is, though, that you can maximize prestige for players. This 50,000 points can be a lot more. All we have to do is say, let's say it's 200,000 on average per player. That suddenly gives us 100,000 points. When you level the cities a lot, then each day that goes on, you get more points, because that accumulates. And the higher the city level, the more points you get. So that means the higher the city level from the beginning of the game, or early on in the game, the more points you get each day. Those points accumulate to a lot, as long as the strategy involves that you max all landmarks in the region. Of course, if you don't max all landmarks in the region, it's all a moot point. You have to maximize them and get them to 150,000 points. But as long as you do that in a region, no one can get more points from the landmark than you can do. But you can get more points from the landmark by leveling the cities earlier, getting more points because you have to deliver more goods to the landmark. And the more goods you have to deliver to the landmark, the more points you get from leveling the landmark itself. It's a win-win situation, as long as you max the landmark to 15. So by following the strategy of maxing or leveling the cities faster than landmarks and not spending as much time on landmarks in the beginning, and then leveling all the landmarks later on when you have better engines, faster engines, you can deliver faster, you have more players that can help on, you are better connected in the region, you will maximize the amount of points you can get. Thank you for watching and have a good day.